Gundam.tk presents Master Grade Blitz Gundam. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2B's Gundam Reviews.net, and I'm not taking a look at the Dual or the Gold Frame Amatsu, although you can check out those reviews, but you've already seen my take on the Master Grade Blitz, so it's time now for me to compile the good and bad, so that you can make your own call whether you want this kit for yourself. So to kick things off with the negatives, first of all, when you're putting this thing together from bottom to top, you're going to notice that in the legs you do have these small little parts there that attach onto the knees. You're also going to have these small gray parts that attach on. And anyway, some of these parts, including down there on the side of the waist skirts, they're going to fall off pretty easily, which is, they're going for the complex by giving you the small parts, but Bandai seems to do, they just need to do a little bit more work to find ways to attach them on so that they're going to actually stay on. Speaking of which, when you take a look at the plates, the clear red, it's fantastic to see that, but in the end I think you're going to end up using the seals just to cover them up, because the ones that are on the head, you're not going to see them all that much. In terms of moving the way up though, you're also going to have a loose waist. All of these parts over here don't seem like they want to fit on that well. They're going to collapse everywhere, and they do get in the way of the limbs moving a little bit as well. But probably the biggest issue for me putting this together was just putting the chest together. There were a few parts there in the bottom that didn't want to go in together. The thruster is in the back. You've got the red and the black and the blue, everything fantastic, except for the fact that they're all going to fall off. I literally have tape on the inside of my Gundam just to hold those in, so that when you're pinching the chest together that they're not going to collapse inwards and outwards in every other way. Also, the cockpit mechanism is not all that great for showing off the pilot. And the backpack just comes across as being a little bit so-so. It's got some great details in terms of looks, with the black, red, black, purple, and the gray on the bottom, so you've got tons of colors in short order. Things are looking good, but if you wanted to have more dynamic poses, you're not going to get them out of this guy. They could have been, I suppose, improved by just having them a little bit further detached, so that they'd have more range of motion off to either side and up and down. Anyway, this guy can be dynamic, but not as much as he could be. Moving up, when you take a look at the head, you've got light piping, which is fantastic. However, taking a look through the light, you put it up against the window, and yeah, you're going to see a little bit, but it's not the same as just having a plain red seal. Anyway, Bandai, I say kudos for you trying that something new. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out that well. You'll have to get it something, it's either going to be a smaller head. It may work better on high grades, I suppose. Or you're just going to have more area being able to be exposed to the light. In terms of the weapons, you've got these 4 fingers, which some people are going to love and some people are going to hate. But when you actually put the Tricaro's shield into hand, it's not going to fit into the hand all that well. It doesn't seem to have that really great attachment point that we've seen on some other Gundams. This one is going to have no problems plugging into the forearms over there. But also you've got this great part that's going to plug in, and whenever you're trying to do anything with this though, you're going to end up loosening up that, the darts are certainly going to get loose, which is a little bit of an issue just because they sort of rattle around in there no matter what you do. And you've got this black part on the back that if you give it a pinch, they'll tend to go back into place, but getting it onto the arm is not that well, and of course it's going to bump into the shoulder there, so most of the poses, I'd say over 90%, you're going to have to keep the shield bent up, which is certainly going to help it in the looks department, but it's just not going to add too much. It's not going to have that free range of motion. But then again, what do you expect with a guitar case under your arm? In terms of the other side, where you're going to have the piercer lock, it's not going to look all that great with these yellow parts here. You can line them up to get them just perfectly. You may have seen before that the yellow parts can fall off when it's collapsing, which brings up the biggest issue with the Blitz Gundam. That whenever you have a Gundam with detachable weapons, whether it's funnels or fins or anything like that, it's always going to be an issue for them to stay up in the air and not collapse under gravity. I'm talking about the high nu or anything else like that. But in this case, you've got a lot of plastic down there for the piercer lock, and you can guess that when you put it on, when you've got such poor attachments there in the form of the gray, really nothing special. You saw that it stayed on for a few seconds, and I tried about 5-6 times afterwards. No luck. Maybe you had more luck, and you can let me know about that with a comment down below. But for me, yes, I'm not even going to try it anymore. If you want to use a pose with the piercer lock, you're just going to have to keep it on the arm. Otherwise, I think the focus is going to be perhaps rightfully over there on the Tricaros. So now that he's been somewhat knocked back down to earth with those negatives, let's get on to the positives, and there's a whole bunch of those. First of all, starting with the unbox, I didn't really expect to have a big box, but when you open it up and you see how many weapons are involved in these weapons, you can understand why they went for the larger Master Grade there, and it's going to look cool next to the Dual on the shelf. And when you take out the plates, you're just going to see lots of great colors here. The black here is not a dull gray or anything like that. It's not going to be as glossy as the Amatsu, but you're going to just have some great rich colors here. I'd say that the purple is very well done. The red is bright, and the fact that you get the white and that extra plate for the pilots and for just the shield and the darts, it's more than enough, and you've got that quality yellow there. Basically, the colors are a big plus. The plates are a big plus. So many details. I'm talking about the inside of the gray parts there. Whether you're talking about the waist, yeah, it's a little bit loose, but the fact that it's got that many details, if you wanted to go in and paint that up and make it all mechanical and pro-like, you would have no problems doing so. In terms of construction, putting it together, the legs were great. When you just see down here, the way that you've got so many details in such short order down there with the red and the purple, and then the way they're going to move. The double ankles here, knocking on wood here, but unlike some other kits that I put together where the ankles have worked at the beginning and then they sort of collapse over time, this one seems to be standing up. But then again, you may hear me complain of a future height comparison about this guy's ankles also giving out. But so far, so good. Also, when you're putting the things together, yeah, the chest is going to have some amazing details. Just include the thrusters on the back. Yes, they fall out, but they're going to look fantastic when you're putting them together. The red details that you saw in the Amatsu are made up with seals that are going to be up on the shoulders, with that one actually made up with small red parts. Incredible details. The 9 parts here for the yellow grips. They're going to look good whether they're extended or straight. Yeah, they're not going to be perfect, but they're still going to be good. But moving on to the Triceros, where you're going to have just so many weapons in such close proximity, good colors, amazing lining opportunities, even on the white part there, and more decals and seals if you want to go ahead and put those on. The beam saber is going to work. The beam rifle actually has the scope and the red barrel, and everything about that is a plus. It's going to fit into the hand fairly well, and I haven't had any weight issues with this whatsoever. And then moving up, you're going to have shoulders, which are never a feature of a Gundam, but with this guy, you totally want to almost show them off on one or the other, but then again, it may get stolen by a frame or two. But they look great. The thrusters on the back, it's just amazing to see the details there every time they turn around, and the head, when you put it together, yes, the light piping doesn't work well, but Bandai, great try. Things are going to work fantastic. I'm sure they're only going to get better now that they're working on it more and more often now with their newer kits. The fact that they did the red part there in plastic instead of with a seal, the yellow V-fin is looking fantastic. The colors pop. The purple in the face along with the bright red. Anyway, everything about this guy in terms of looks, posability, the legs are great, the arms are great, the head is great outside of the thrusters, and the fact that the shield bumps into the shoulder, there's hardly a single negative knock to say about the posability. The ankles are holding up, so looks, plates, colors, fun, posing, this guy has pretty much everything except for the collapsing weapons, which means that I'm going to be recommending this one as a go, despite the fact that yes, this one's not going to work. As I said, it's going to collapse, but outside of that, just the step up that this guy has compared to the old 1/100th, and go check out Dalong.net's review of this guy, and you can see him side by side with the old one. The proportions, the colors, everything about this guy just screams master grade, and of course it was a long wait for people that didn't want to wait the 10 years, but it seems like it was worth it, and the fact that we're going to be getting all of them and that they're not holding off on that fact just means that you can buy with confidence. Duel is probably my second favorite of the bad guys, so Aegis being first. Blitz being a third for me, but then again, he's got the connection to the gold frame Amatsu, which I'm a big fan of. And in this case, the Master Grade, when you stack it up next to the old 1/100th non-grade, is a pure win for me. It's not a 100% win, but it's still more than enough. So in terms of the future, we know what we're going to be getting in terms of the Seed bad guys, at least from the first half of the series. It's only a question after that as to whether we could be seeing like something like a Justice or a Providence or the bad guys or whatever we could be getting. Anyway, Blitz may be at the end of its line with an old school non-grade and then the 1/144th high grade, the 1/100th non-grade, the 10-year leap. You can't imagine this guy ever getting a perfect grade. But then again, this is its ultimate form, and I'd say that they did a fantastic job and something that was worth the wait. Anyway, everybody, that's just my opinion, and of course, I'd love to hear yours with a comment down below so that people can see a lot more than just mine. And anyway, everybody, stay tuned for lots more reviews. I will be back for Buster. He is my 4th favorite of 4, but then again, to get the whole set is going to be just too cool, especially with a strike. And of course, the inevitable question about a 2.0 is going to raise its head every time, and I wonder, what about a Freedom 2.0? But anyway, that's just pure speculation. This one, the matter at hand, is a lot of fun, and I think you'll enjoy it too. Anyway, everybody, thanks very much for watching, and stick around for lots more news, reviews, and everything else you can use. Thanks for watching. Bye. Master Grade Duel, Master Grade Blitz, Master Grade Red Frame, Blue Frame, and you'd hope one day. My arm, give it back now. Oh. But that's looking awfully non-gradish. On second thought, I'll just stick with what I've got here.